Justin Tucker for the winner from 49 yards. Snap is good. Kick on the way. It is long enough. And the kick is good. The time has come off the clock. The hay's in the barn. And the Ravens take down the 49ers. And this house is on fire. And Thanksgiving weekend in Baltimore ends with one more thing to be thankful for.
Every cliche possible jammed into the call there. A little more organic excitement. Not the reading off the, I'm sorry, I shouldn't be critical. But it just felt like the guy's reading off the list of cliches.
Well, yeah.
It didn't feel real.
It did not feel
forced,
real. I agree. Yes, it did feel forced.
I'm glad I'm not the only one.
No, it did. It felt a little forced there. But that was an awesome game either way. I was a little disappointed it rained. I can't lie for that game. I thought that took away from it. Yeah, it did. It took away from the greatness of the game. But either way, the difference in the game was, once again, number 8, Lamar Jackson. I mean, I really think it was two even teams slugging it out, and his ability to kind of control the clock in certain big situations with runs he made really was the difference in the game. I mean, I think it was a very evenly played football game, and both physical. Like I said, I do think the rain hurt the 49ers just because of more than the Ravens, because the Ravens are more size-oriented. The 49ers have a little bit more of a speed element to their overall team. I know the Ravens have Lamar Jackson and all that. And, of course, their boots and play-action pass game, I think, is limited in that kind of weather. But either way, I do think there's still a good chance that's a Super Bowl preview.
By the way, it's Pro Football Talk Live Monday edition. He's Chris Simms. I'm Mike Florio, NBC Sports Radio. NBC.
I think they know.
Hello to our friends in this.
They're tuned in.
You never know. This could be, for the one person out there,
right,
this is the first day that they see it on their guide.
Yeah.
And they say, oh, what's this? Let's see what this is.
So they saw it on their guide. Did they have to hear you say it?
They pop it in. But they pop, well, maybe they don't. Maybe they just trip across it. Maybe they're channel surfing, and they're like, oh, I wonder what this show is. And we talk for 10 minutes without telling them.
Well, maybe they were watching, and they were going, man, they're having a good conversation. Why did this idiot stop things?
I
have to just tell them what channel I turned it on when I saw it on my guide and the name of the show and the channel anyways.
There's a radio audience as well out there. They may want to know.
I was wondering why you were sitting there so quietly.
I was just waiting for you to finish hogging the microphone so I could make the point of what the show is called.
Don't ask me about the damn announcement.
How about this? 6 minutes and 28 seconds.
Yeah.
That's how long the Ravens held it, tied 17, to get in position for the game-winning field goal, controlling the clock. And you can do that when you have a quarterback who also is a running back. And your guy Kyle said it last week, and this isn't disrespectful to Lamar Jackson. It's reality. When he decides to run, he becomes a running back. He's not a running quarterback because he doesn't look to throw. He doesn't look to dive.
Right.
He doesn't look to slide. He doesn't look to get out of bounds. He just looks to run. He becomes a guy who is no different than the guy that you would hand the ball to and say, go.
No,
that's who he is.
Agree.
101 yards on the ground, 105 yards through the air. His 5th career double-triple. This is a stat that MDS from PFT identified a few weeks ago. And he has 5 now for his career. The record all-time is 8 for Mike Vick. Lamar Jackson has 4 this season alone. It's incredible what he's doing. And he's currently second place all-time with 5. It just shows you how rare it is that this happens. But Lamar Jackson gets another one yesterday, and the Ravens get the win. I do want to see a rematch.
Yeah.
Right?
Right.
All due respect to the other teams that are in the playoff field and would like to get to the Super Bowl, I want to see this one again. It had that feel to it of a special game.
It did.
And I would like to see it on a neutral site where weather isn't an issue.
Thank you.
You can't whine about it the day after.
But you got to admit, the rain kind of took away from it, too. It does. It makes it a little bit of a slop fest. It makes conservative play calling, too, in certain situations.
Isn't it funny how we love snow,
right,
but we hate rain?
Yeah, I know you're right. Well, rain, I think, really affects the passing game a lot more than snow. Snow, as long as it's not like just a total wind gust type blizzard, you can throw in the snow. It actually, a lot of the times, my experience when it snows, it actually feels better, the football. It gives it a little bit of a moisture to where you can really grip it. But, I mean, you said it, Lamar Jackson, I think if you really just boil that game down, it was pretty even up front. There was on both sides of the ball, offense and defensive line, and then his ability to run out the clock or keep the defense honest because he might keep it around the edge. There's Mark Ingram up the middle for 3 or 4 yards to control the clock. I mean, they can just beat you so many different ways because of his skill and talent. And of course, he's just continues to throw the ball well too. Even though it wasn't a lot yesterday, it was effective and he had a big touchdown pass.
Felt like the turning point in the game came when Marcel Harris of the 49ers, a backup safety, ripped the ball out of Jackson's possession. situation and recovered it all in kind of one Cobra strike. It happened so fast. The first lost fumble of the season for Lamar Jackson, which is amazing when you consider how much he runs the football. But that felt like the moment where the opening was going to be there for the Ravens, because the Ravens are up 17-14. They're driving.
They're going in. Here we go.
And the 49ers get it back, and they eventually tie it up. And it just felt like that was going to be that thing that we look back to and say, that's when the 49ers secured their opportunity to win the game. But the Ravens just kept it going. And there's that hit out of bounds that was initially called a penalty. They picked the flag up. This is the one big gripe that I have and a lot of others have. When a quarterback decides to become a running back, he's a running back. All protections are off except for the, lowering the helmet to use it as a weapon, and that applies to a running back as well. But there was a play in the Cowboys game on Thursday where Dak Prescott got hit late. No running back ever draws that flag. No. It was not the kind of late hit for a running back that draws a flag. That hit out of bounds. We see running backs hit like that all the time. It doesn't draw a flag. So we have to get to the point where if the teams are going to take advantage of quarterbacks running the ball, they have to accept the fact that the quarterbacks become running backs and they lose all their protection.
Yeah, well, quarterbacks, for some reason, even the running ones, seem like they want the grace period of like, hey, I'm going out of bounds, but I'm not there yet, so you shouldn't hit me. No.
And then when they pull up, they run for 10 yards.
We talked about it last week. We've seen a lot of quarterbacks pull the okie doke and get a bunch of extra yards. Yes, you're exactly right. But I think, you mentioned the turning point, right? I mean, you're right. At that point of the game, it looked like the Ravens were kind of like, oh, gosh, here they're going to control the game. They're going to go up by 10 points, it looks like. And will the 49ers be able to come back from that? But, early on in the game, I really thought San Francisco was in a kind of a controlling the game, up 7-0, and then of course that strip sack fumble, and I can't remember exactly who got it. I'm going to try to pull Brandon Williams. He's the one that got it coming off the edge there. To me, that was another big turning point to where I went, ooh, the 49ers look like the better team early on. Then I went, ooh, the Ravens got control of this, and really I felt like they had control of it ever since that point. And you're right, with the strip sack or the strip, I thought, ooh, maybe the 49ers will bring it back, but it still seemed like the Ravens had control of the game when all said and done down the stretch.
Yeah, and look, the Ravens were at home. The weather was an issue. The 49ers probably would have won that game if they had played it in San Francisco. Who knows? But, here's what I like about Baltimore, about what happened yesterday. It had been coming so easily for them in recent weeks. I think they needed one like this. I think John Harbaugh needed one where, hey, we get the win, but also I have plenty of meat that I can use to fashion coaching points, and we need to work on this, we need to work on that. Because I think if it's too easy for you in the regular season and you get to a tough, hard-fought playoff game, you don't have that memory bank to draw upon of being in a game like this. This is going to help both of these teams when they get to the postseason if they're in a tough, grounded-out game, because they've been in a tough, grounded-out game that felt like a playoff game.
Yeah, battle-tested, definitely. You're playing one of the best teams in football. That's going to give you confidence to go, okay, well, we slugged it out with them and maybe didn't play our best and still found a way to win the football game. I think the other thing that's going to give Baltimore, a lot of confidence, too, is just come playoff time, no matter what the weather conditions, it just was another thing to say, oh, it's rainy and sloppy. Oh, okay, well, we'll just overpower you, and Lamar will keep the ball. And, you guys are trying to figure out which way he's going and slipping in the grass and the mud and all that. Well, he knows which way he is going. And, I think there's that element, too, that, it doesn't matter what happens in January if they get some bad weather games there, that they're going to be fine as well.
And, the 49ers need one of these tough, grinded-out games that they actually win.
Yeah.
Their two most exciting games this year, 49ers-Seahawks 3 weeks ago and Ravens-49ers yesterday, the 49ers lost.
Right.
You want to win. You want to have a game like that you can sense it's a special game. You can sense it's a big moment, and you emerge with the victory. You don't want to be constantly failing in that setting because there's going to be some tough tests for both of these teams, and there's another tough test for the 49ers coming up. And don't look now, but they may be the 5 seed tomorrow morning.
Yeah.
Because if the Seahawks beat the Vikings tonight, there goes that lead that they so carefully built and meticulously constructed one week after another. All those wins, because they lost to the Seahawks, and the Seahawks have been great this year, they could tumble down to the 5 seed, and they go to New Orleans next week to play the Saints, and the Saints have a couple few. I think the 49ers can beat the Saints. I think the 49ers are a better team than the Saints.
Yeah, I do too. I do too.
But they're playing that game in New Orleans, which is going to be a factor.
No question. But I mean, to your point, yeah, they could be the 5th seed, but they have total control over this situation. I mean, here down the stretch, they got the Saints. They can knock them out the way. Last week of the season, it's the Seahawks. So and the Seahawks still have a pretty tough schedule themselves too. I mean, tonight's not going to be just some cupcake against your Minnesota Vikings. They got the Rams left on their schedule, who kind of found their mojo back again.
Boy, they sure did.
Yeah, they sure did. And, I think there's a lot of football here to be played still before this thing is all said and done. But I'm with you. I still favor the 49ers as being the best team in the NFC. But it's not by a big margin over the other two as far as the Saints and the Seahawks.
And the thing I've been saying all day, after tonight, there's still 25% of the season to be played, and a lot can happen.
Yeah.
64 regular season games, a lot of playoff spots on the line, playoff seeding still to be determined. It's going to be a fun finish to the season.
Hi, I'm Mike Tirico, and thanks for watching. Make sure to hit subscribe for the latest news and highlights from NBC Sports.